Okay, this is going to be a run through for Heads Collide. We're going to start off with the opening intro riff that is played on the lowest string. It's in a dropped tuning, and it's played 3, 2, 1, 0. We do that twice, and then 4, 3, 1, 0. We do that twice. We just go back and forth between those two. Just like that. So we'll hear the intro piece, and then we'll run through each piece as we go. Let me just add, this ill-timed bullet sound totally interferes with the sounds of the guitar, and I'm not going to be able to come in at just the right time because the guitar is virtually inaudible. So way to go on the production there, Tony. Thank you. All right, so you'll hear Nick doing those squeals, and then I kind of back him up with a lock-in riff. That's played on the high D and A strings. It's going to be 8, 7, 8, 7, and then down to 7, 6, 7, 6. So a lot of chugging on the low string, and I use a pull-off all the way across. So let's hear how that goes. All right, from there I go into a harmony, I go into a third, so I start playing on the G rather than the 8, 7, 8, 7. I go to the G and D and I go 7, 6, 7, 6. Just throws in kind of like a third harmony. I like throwing in some high harmonies sometimes. All right, so this part is, first we play up in the upper register here. We're going to play on the A string on the octave. That should be D or whatever tuning Nick is in. And that piece is played with, again, with some pull-offs. It's going to be a 6-5 pull-off on the A, and then an 8-5. And then we do some more chugging. So. And then, and the follow-up tail is going to be a pull-off on the D string. You have a couple of pull-offs, 7, 6, and then I like to kind of just play off right back to the high D. All right. All right, once we go into the double bass, I kind of stay up in the high register for all of it. I don't come down for the chug. And I'm going to add, for my pull-offs, I'm pulling off into a mute on these D strings. I'm not sure if Nick is pulling off onto the string itself, but I pull off into a mute. My finger's already fretting on the 5th fret, so I'm just going to mute that string on those pull-offs. Like that. Let's hear what's next. All right, so you can hear Nick's doing some kind of a wah piece. I really don't like when he gets all of the spotlight, so I throw in just a slide on the 12 just to jump in and like steal the attention away from Nick before we enter the verse, which is going to also involve some pull-offs. We're going to pull off on the 1 and the 3 like that. It's basically just the low octave of the earlier high part. Same kind of pull-offs. The tail is going to be, I believe it's 7-0, 6-0, 3-0. Sometimes I do 8-0, 7-0, 3-0. So I hope I haven't been playing that wrong all this time.
So I hope I'm playing that wrong all this time.
So yeah, that should be... And then once again, we're going to get into some double bass. We're going to do some picking, and I'm just going to pick all the way through it. Kind of like that. Let's hear the next part. All right, so we pause. Nick comes in with a wad piece, and then we all just kind of pick for our lives on the low string. All right, this piece is a little bit tricky. So it's important to note it's going to start on the D string on the 5th fret. And we're going to see a phrase that kind of repeats itself in 2 spots for the riff. And it's going to look a little something like this. So we do this phrase, and we drop a step. And then back to the E. Now, instead of going back to the 5th fret to repeat the phrase, it's played a half step higher. The spacing and phrasing remains the same. We're just doing 6, 5, 6, 4, 3, 4. Back to the chugging. Now, the next time we're at the 7th fret. So we're moving it up a half step each time. Same phrasing. And then for the 4th time, 8, 7, 8, 7, 6, 7. I'll try to play it all together. And then we're going to go back into the verse, if I remember correctly. So we're going to hear the verse. That's going to go into some familiar parts that we've already covered. Okay, now that's what we heard at the intro piece. That's going to be the upper register version, not down here. All right, so we have a sudden break right there, and we hit that open, and then I add a half step D sharp into it. So and that extra pulse, that is my personal contribution to the song. You'll notice it's like one of the best parts of the song, that extra thump right there. And then again, Nick's been getting the spotlight, so it's time for me to do like a slide and a bend. I'll do a bend like on the 12th, wherever you want, because you're stealing the limelight right there. So anywhere you want. All right, so now we're gonna get into a riff that's gonna have a little bit of back and forth. It's gonna be kind of pummeling, and then it's going to be fast and hard. So the progression for that is going to be quite simply 0, 5, 6 on our D string, and then we're going to go to the A, 6, 5, and then back to the D, 5, 6, 1. So 0, 5, 6, 6, 5. 5, 6. Okay, so it's going to be 0, 5, 6, 6, 5, 5, 6, 1. And then while we're at it, I throw in a little with the snare or something like that. And then you're going to play it fast. Just like that. You know how we do it. Alright, so here is where we get the breakdown. This is going to be the same riff that we played at the intro piece. It's just going to be a little more pummeling and disgusting. And just as a fresh reminder, it's just 3, 2, 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0, 4, 3, 1, 0, 4, 3, 1, 0. You can tell Nick added some hijinks with some slides. He kind of took my cue, if you will, took my inspiration, and did some slides of his own right there. So I'm kind of proud of him for letting his guard down and letting some of my influence show in him. So that was really, really brave of him to do that. All right, so now we're in another pummeling riff, all on the low D. See? But what I'm going to do as this piece progresses is I'm going to bring that intro concept into it. So I'm going to have some open, I'm going to play that rhythm, and then I'm going to incorporate 3, 2, 1, 0 into that. And a climb 0, 1, 3, 4, 3, 1, 0. So it's going to be like. But then the action's picking up. We get some fast-paced drumming, and so I'm just going to pick all the way through it. Same notes and everything, but I'm just going to pick all the way through instead of the breaks. Something kind of like that. All right, so at this point, Nick didn't feel like I was working hard enough, and he thought we should bring it to like a faster crescendo for the outro. So we have some furious open picking with a tail in there, and you hear the squeals, and there's an alternating tails here. The first tail, you're going to have the speed picking. It's going to be 5 and 6 on the A and D strings. So you've got your speed picking, and then just like that. 5, 6, 6, 5, 5, 6, 5, 6. I use hammer-ons and pull-offs. Okay, so that's the first phrase. And then you're going to chug along. And then the next one is going to go 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. You might even want to do a slide or pull-offs and hammer-ons with a slide. And then it's going to kind of get into a kind of a groove, and we're just going to kind of chug it out. And the tail's going to stay the same all the way through that part, and we're just going to alternate between those two tails until the very end, where we're kind of locking in on a jam and stop, and then put in the last final series. So that should be it in its entirety. No, I'm too old for this shit. All right, well, hopefully that helps. I'll send the tablature. Enjoy. It's cold hard.